Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Developing the Leader Within. As you can tell by my background, it is a tropical day. I'm wearing my Aloha shirt for a reason. December 7th, 1941. It was a very, very dark day for America. I served in the Navy for 26 years, and most of that time was in sunny Hawaii. I consider myself a Hawaii boy. Although I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in New York City in the Bronx, most of my adult life was spent on Hawaii. And today I have a guest that is so near and dear to my heart, and I want to share him with the world. His name is Sterling Cale. Now, out here in America, the continental U.S. part of America, he's not well known. But on the island of Oahu, he is a national treasure. He was a pharmacist mate, second class, when one morning he was going home and saw the Japanese planes coming in on a Sunday morning. He got thrusted into chaos very quickly. And I was able to speak with him while I was in Hawaii. And we discussed many a conversation, but I want to share him and his story with you so that you can get a sense of appreciation for the things that Americans have done for our nation. And it's not just in the continental U.S. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you Sterling Cale, a national treasure. And this is a very special episode, unlike any episode that I've ever done, simply because what you're going to hear today is from a person that I love dearly, Sterling Cale, and he's going to tell you a story that you may have never heard on this side of the states, right? Because a lot of people know him in Hawaii, but not that many people know him here in Florida and stateside. So I want to bring that to you. But I met Sterling at a December 7th bell ringing ceremony, and we were all in whites, and this young man was sitting there waiting for the bell ringing ceremony, and it just popped in my head: why are we not treating these treasures of survivors of Pearl Harbor in a way where we make them family? And I asked them, I said, has anybody asked you ever to be their command grandpa? And he said, why, no, no one's ever asked me that. And I said, would you be mine? And for 3 years, while I was the senior enlisted leader in Hawaii, he was our command grandpa. Now, things that good ideas come with the people, and they also go with the people, right? So that kind of has fallen away. But Sterling, first of all, thank you, number one, for your service. Number two, for the impact you have had on Hawaii in general, for the impact you have had on my family. We all have taken pictures with you in one way or another, and we look at those pictures and we just smile because you truly are a treasure to us. Folks, I want to introduce to you Sterling Cale, and I want to give you the floor. Sterling, tell us your story.
Thank you very much. Well, actually, I was a pharmacist mate, second class in the shipyard dispensary in the Navy Yard in 1941. Nothing is really happening. I came down, I was ready to go home because all the pharmacist mates lived outside in the civilian area. So as I walked down to the water, getting ready to go out to the main gate and go home, something started happening. The ships came in, the planes were starting firing on all of our ships. I said, what's wrong with those people? This is Sunday. We don't train on Sunday. Must be the Navy, probably National Guard or reserves or something, doing some favorite thing of theirs on Sunday. And then suddenly I watched again, they were firing on USS Oklahoma. Why are they firing on the battle wagons? We don't have any of the big ships in. All of our big ships are out in the water training, where they were firing on whatever they could fire on. I said, that is really something. So as I kept on walking down to the main gate so that I could go home, they started dropping their torpedoes. Their two torpedoes were exploding all over the place. What's wrong with these people? Because, back in 1941, I was training to be a frogman. That people that worked down in the water. And so I would made all of our learning from the frogman, and I started trying to pick up the people. I jumped in the water and started hauling them out from the USS Oklahoma. I didn't know what I was going to do. The Pearl Harbor is different place. The water is different. Some places different big uh, lumps of stuff in the water. Then you get it from the stuff that's short, you get into the area where the water is deep. How am I going to get these people over to the dispensary in the hospital so that they can be taken care of? Some of them are dead already. Some of them are still bleeding from the shock and danger when the thing exploded. So I started using my ideas that I had learned as a frogman. I jumped into the water and started swimming. What am I swimming for? All the men over there in the Oklahoma. So I started going to the Oklahoma, taking off the people, trying to get them up to the shipyard dispensary or the hospital. I can't do that, so I think I gotta go. We weren't even firing back at him. What's wrong with thee? So I ran over to the armory, broke down the door of the armory, started to hand out the rifles. Rifles? In those days, the weapons were only fired one ammo. Every time you fired one, you had to put another ammo in. This isn't going to work. We're not even firing back from the Oklahoma. So I said, I got to do something else. So I started picking them off the Oklahoma, trying to get them up to the Navy dispensary in the hospital. So I pick up one at a time. Sometimes I had to haul them with a line, pulling them over to the line. And sometimes I could do it by hand. I could pick them up and put them on a little boat. Actually, we had gotten one of the sailors that was swimming around with his weapon and his little ship that he had. We put one person on there, take them over to the hospital. Then we come back trying to get another person, take them over to the hospital. It was really slow working, but we did as much as we could. So finally, the thing that they had dropped in the ship sank with all the rest of the people on board. Some 400 people were still on board the Oklahoma when it sank there in the water. So I was going to get rid of everything. Boy, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going home. So I kept going towards the main gate. And as I got to the main gate, the master sergeant says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going home. We live over in the civil area." He said, no, you ain't going anywhere. You got to be court-martialed for breaking into the armory and handing out the weapons. I said, what are we going to do firing if we don't have a weapon? He said, well, you can't go anywhere until you get court-martialed for breaking into the armory. So I can't just lay around the shipyard area. He said, you have to wait till the armor officer comes to see what he's going to do with you. Well, when the officer came, they had already told you in Washington, D.C., he had said, we're at war with the Japanese. Nothing else happened but whatever we're going to do against the Japanese. I said, okay. I'm still going home now. I don't have to get court-martialed because we're at war with the Japanese. He said, you can't go home. I need you to here in the shipyard dispensary. Why? He said, but I don't have any NCOs here. I got to use a pharmacist mate. Oh. He said, get a weapon, get on the front door in the receiving session. Don't let anybody in or out that don't belong here. Just keep them out. Okay, so I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And suddenly the medical admiral from Camp Smith came down. He said, Cale, what the hell are you doing there in the front door to the... Well, I said, the master sergeant said I can't go anywhere. I got to guard everybody, nobody in or out that don't belong here. But he said, pharmacist mates don't have weapons, they had first aid packs. And I'm sorry. I'm just doing whatever the master sergeant tells me to do. Okay? He said, just get off there. Tell the master sergeant to get somebody else on the front door, the receiving station. But I can't tell the master sergeant something like that. So the admiral went over and said, pharmacist mate Cale is a medical man. He doesn't stand door on door, keeping people in or out or going anywhere. Get somebody else over here to Lander Gate. I said, okay, Cale, don't go anywhere. Just lay around the receiving station, and 2 or 3 days, I'll come back and give you another job. Yes, sir. Okay. So I'm sitting around on the receiving station, and the next thing I hear 2 or 3 days later, as a medical officer comes back, I have my directions as what he wants me to do. And that's about the story of December the 7th, 1941. Thank you very much.
Now, I tell you that is, just a small piece I know of all that you went through. I have had the blessing of sitting with you and hearing your story. But what a time! I don't think that anything has come close to that outside of maybe September 11th, but it doesn't even touch it. And no disrespect to all that were lost on September 11th, because I know a few that were lost and are friends and were friends of mine. But the vastness, the greatness of Pearl Harbor and all that happened, and where it took us as a country, was very, very critical. It was a critical time in our nation's history, and people like you in service, that not being part of the armed part of the service, and being medical, just taking decisive decisions to do what you could with what you had at the time to help. And so I thank you so much for
You
sharing that.
have any special questions you want to ask? I'll try to answer them.
Yes, definitely. So you served in the Navy, but we see a, you know, a command sergeant major tab on your hat. Where did that come into play in your history?
Okay. As you know, I was in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and State Department. So as I was working in Vietnam, I was over there in the Special Service, which is State Department. I was trying to teach the Vietnamese there how to plant different subjects in the water. And if you put the seed in the water, it'll grow up and get that. Plant something else in the water, don't you think? Well, the commanding officer liked the things that I was doing, and he was writing up a letter to the State Department trying to get me promoted to warrant officer. Warrant officer? I was a second class pharmacist, mate. Well, anyway, as a State Department man, I was just another man. So he was teaching me these things, and he wrote a beautiful letter about 3 pages long, all the different things I was doing in Vietnam, trying to help out the Vietnamese. And somehow the letter got lost. They didn't mail it to the State Department. And, and a few days after that, the letter came back to us in Vietnam. I said, how come this letter didn't get mailed? Well, did get mailed, but it didn't go where it was supposed to go. And so that's the reason I never got to be a command sergeant major or a warrant officer at that time. All these things happened afterwards.
So it, actually, he was saying from the Navy, how did you get in the Army, Daddy? From
Okay?
Navy. So what was that,
From the
Korea?
Down to that, I was out in the medical area of the officer army. Okay,
No, Navy.
I said I'm ready to do something because I had gone to another unit, and the other unit I was a sergeant major already. Because if you're in a certain area when they change everybody over, whoever was in that position became a sergeant major. Well, that's great. But as this in this unit over there, they had a warrant officer who came from Europe, okay? And he drank beer. So he was shipping me out. So he get his person over there from 25th Division into the unit, and he would become a master at arms, or rather a sergeant major. But he had to ship me out because I was the senior man. I was the sergeant major already at the unit. And he shipped me over to the small unit. Well, I liked the small unit because they had a dog over there that I liked. This the dog was one of the people that worked with the man to do it, to look for things, to try and guard things for while I was there. Well, at that time, I was also a main in another organization. So he had to ship me out so that he can get the things done that he wanted to do.
How did you get
All these different things happened. Boy, it was really difficult. But anyway, the letter with these 3 or 4 pages of stuff that he had written trying to get me promoted, came back to the unit where it first went out. So I still have the letter down in my area down there in the frame. That's what happened there.
How did you get to the Army from the Navy, Daddy?
Yeah, how did I get from the Army to the Navy?
You went to Korea, was that the Army?
No, I had to go to Korea first. So as I was in the thing, remember I was still going around as a pharmacist mate second class. When I got over to this new unit, I reported in, and then he said, I said, I'm only a pharmacist mate now. He said, that's all right. You're the main man that came in, so you're the sergeant major of the unit. Well, I had gotten there because when I was in this other unit, they asked me, what can you do? I said, I can't do anything because I'm only a pharmacist mate second class. They said, okay, can you do this? I said, no, I can't do that. Can you do this? No, I can't do that. But long term, in between the units, I had become a pharmacist mate in the Navy. Oh, not a warrant officer, but I was a registered nurse. Registered nurse is higher than a pharmacist mate. So they figured as a registered nurse, I could do anything. I said, yeah, I can do anything a registered nurse can do, but I can't do anything the other people can do. So as they had gotten rid of me to get the other man in from the 25th Division, so the warrant officer could drink beer with him, I was already in this other unit to go to Korea.
So
What
you
am I
went
going to
to
do in Korea? I'm not registered for Korea. I'm not trained for Korea. Things were really getting more difficult. So I got over to Busan, Korea. Busan, Korea. I got over there, everybody coming in there, hey, this is great. You get a hot bath for 50 cents. You get a hot bath, get a haircut for 50 cents. You get the shoes shine, clean clothes, everything 50 cents each, and even a little sex for 50 cents each. Well, suddenly they counted and said, okay, we're ready to move out at 10 o'clock at night. I said, where are you going? This unit is moving out. And you're going to be the pharmacist mate. I'm not trained for anything else now, only pharmacist mate. So at 10 o'clock at night, we were moving out of Korea, heading to North Korea. Sanju, Sinuiju, on the Chinese River where the Chinese were coming across the river. I said, boy, this is really difficult. But nothing happened. I'm sleeping in the pickup truck that the motor officer had, and me, and I picking up the Japanese stuff as they come along there. I'd like to have. Okay, suddenly in the morning, the shells started coming in. Luckily, I had going to urinate up the stream, but the master at arms was in the truck. He got hit so many places and was bleeding so much that the medical also couldn't even take care of him. Well, I'm telling you another story.
That's another story. But it was a
Yeah.
special thing that he asked for a transfer, and that wasn't usually done. A transfer from the Navy to the Army, it was not. I just was reading the special papers where they last night where they gave him that permission to transfer to the Army after Korea.
Yeah,
So
we had all kinds of cases. So a lot. Just remember, at that time, they were telling you, oh, you had to have a general order came through that tells you what to do. But I said that's not true because men gave orders also. And as a senior man, I said, do this, do that. And I didn't write no letter out and give it to him and say, only do it if it says so in the letter.
yeah, he gave all
Now,
kinds of assignments.
if I remember right, so you served in the Navy, you got transferred to the Army, and then so you did Pearl Harbor, the actual disaster.
Yeah.
You went to Guadalcanal.
Yeah.
You went to Korea. You did Vietnam. You did it all. You did
Yeah.
everything, and
Yes.
and you served at the highest rank of the Army, and then changed to the State Department. So what an illustrious career. Although it was a lot that happened. There was a lot that happened while you were serving. I wanted to bring something out that you gave me, and I don't know if you'll remember this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember that.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
This was from Hanau, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I still got it, buddy.
Well, I see. As I went to Guadalcanal with the 1st Marine Division, Sergeant and Feature Census Bougainville, and then the 3rd Marines came along, and because they put up a flag, we didn't put one up in the first. They always talk about evil, evil, evil. Makes me so mad I can pee my pants.
Yeah. He said it was them first.
They didn't start the war. The 1st Marine Division did.
57 years of service.
Yeah, 57. I was
That's
84 years old when I left the general's mess at Schofield Barracks. And I would have stayed there longer than that, but they kicked me out because
They abolished his position. They abolished the position.
Man that came in got rid of me because he couldn't go to the military area and buy food, and I could, so he got rid of me because he couldn't buy food in the commissary.
Okay.
Well, I tell you that I have been blessed yet again, and folks that are listening, I got this story face to face, right? So I got to hear this face to face. I'm one of the few fortunate that did go through Pearl Harbor and had the blessing of meeting Sterling personally and sharing some time with him. But I wanted to bring him all to you and give him a happy birthday gift. That it was 99, right? 99 on the 29th.
99, working on 100.
Look at you, look at you. And I tell you that every year that passes by, I'm astounded at how you keep going, and Lord bless you, and I know your family is grateful to have you. I know that there's some things that happen when we get older, but I'm also blessed to still have you and be able to talk to you and be able to record this session, which was one of my dreams as I was starting this podcast journey of mine, was to get you on here and share you with the world. So Sterling, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much for the many years that you served, the many years that you served as a public service in the State Department, and all the years that you have dedicated to the community there at Pearl Harbor. I know many in my command were blessed to hear your story, you know, at the first person level. And so I thank you, Lisa, for taking out this
You're
time
welcome.
to be with us. Sterling, we love you. God bless you, and we will see you hopefully soon. My dream is to get back to Hawaii. So
So thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. I love your wife and children. Give a kiss to your wife for me. And I thank you for being here. God
thank
bless.
you. God bless.
God bless.
I give you the double shaka. That means to.
Thank you for joining me on this special podcast for December 7th. I hope that you've enjoyed the stories of Sterling Cale and all that he has done for our nation, and that you can have a sense of appreciation for the things that many Americans have done. He's not the only one. There have been countless of Americans that have fought for the liberties of U.S., of America, and some that have paid the price that we call the ultimate price, which is they have died serving this nation. I hope that you enjoy this day, but always remember those servicemen and women around the globe that are still serving, that are still fighting, that are still dying. God bless America. God bless our armed forces. God bless you.